Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. I've added another T-shirt here. I didn't get the boop, which was something that was very popular for some reason. I've adjusted the way I say the boop for the you know what, the boop, and I now have this listed here. Unfortunately, I made the back. There's nothing on the back. There's stickers too, but this is what it looks like on the other shirts. The different shirts here. This is what it looks like on the cup. Let me show you here. I'll show you the thing here. Go back here. So that's what it looks like on the sweatshirt. And this T-shirt, there's various colors here. I don't know. It is what it is. Somebody suggested I make this into a T-shirt, and I thought it was a good idea. And so there it is. And it's listed in the description box on both my channels. I'll cover this again tomorrow on my Positive Future. I'll just use the same little clip here. It'll be an introduction because I gotta start doing this more. I enjoy making the T-shirts, but I just get lazy and I forget to mention them and all these other things. I wonder why this is not in dollars. It's in some other foreign currency. I don't know what that is, euro. But anyways, somebody suggested this. There's already been 2 units sold. I haven't even announced it yet. So, but anyways, you can get your I Didn't Get the Boop T-shirts in the description box to any of my videos on any of my channels. So actually, I'm in the editing process. I have a few more things to say. This is another Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies. I almost forgot the intro.
They're dropping like flies.
Listen, people are dropping like flies out there.
I am
Boop.
pissed off.
We're dropping like flies around here.
We're dropping like flies here.
Jeez, sir, 2 more just went down. Dropping like flies.
Too many people around here been dropping like flies already, and where's that getting us, huh? Nowhere. Fast.
Biden's being Biden's being extremist.
Crush that fly.
So just a few more things here that I forgot to mention. So when I stop using something or I don't use something for a while, I forget how to use it. Like in terms of software, like I don't use Photoshop so much anymore. So I have to, I have videos saved that things I had to learn before. So that's good. I have YouTube videos saved on things I've needed in the past. And so, some of those things I can figure out, but it's a pain because once you've learned something, it's harder to relearn it. It's easier to relearn it, but it's, I don't want to go through all the processes I did in the first place. And using this website to make these T-shirts, and there's been changes. They only let you choose 5 colors now. They used to let you choose more. It seems like the prices have gone up on their end, so everything's changed since. I made these, I don't know, originally about a year ago or so. But given the opportunity to make something when it's new, like I've just started to say boop, and it's not annoying for some people have found it funny. I've gotten so many comments about it that people that makes me laugh and whatever. And it's interesting because I wasn't allowed, I got some community guideline stuff and YouTube retightened up their policy on the boop. And now I've done this a number of times where what I end up doing becomes more fun than saying the actual word, like the forbidden words or these other things. So that happened. But yeah, there's already a couple of units sold and I didn't even do the announcement. So that, we'll see what happens with this T-shirt. But I enjoy making them. I just, I get lazy and I put so much of my time just making content. But, I had a little extra time yesterday and I cranked this one out. And, I've sent away for some a few, sent away for the stickers and a T-shirt for my wife. Like she'll be into it. Like she was happy to see it. But anyways, let's get into the other stuff here. And so let's go over here to Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx co-star Portia Coleman gives update on actor's health 2 months after hospitalization. Here's what she said here.
He's resting, he's well, and he's gonna be back. Trust and believe. Jamie's fine.
But then as it goes through here, it says he's doing well, and he says, it says down here, if you notice, Jamie Foxx has been on the low, private, meaning he's private, even when it came to dating. Once I heard the news, of course, I reached out, but how Foxx is doing, it is how Foxx should be doing it, Coleman continued. Well, that doesn't mean she's even had any contact with him. So she says he's fine, but nobody seems to be able to see the guy, right? Concerns for Jamie Foxx have been mysterious illness condition. Mystery surrounds the condition of Jamie Foxx, who has been MIA, suffering a medical complication on the set more than 2 months ago. Nobody's heard from the guy, right? And so there's these people that come out and say, oh, he's fine, he's doing great. But this only just raises more concern because, I covered this the other day. Mike Tyson said this. He suffered a stroke and this other stuff that's happened, that the guy's just disappeared. And nobody knows what's happened outside the family, and they're keeping it a secret. So then this happened.
I was just thinking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
Okay, so that happened, and my wife said that people are saying that's fake, right? And she gets a lot of stuff more that, from right-wing sources. So I went to check it out. Here is the C-SPAN official video. You see, this is Tim Cook and various other high-tech CEOs. This is the last day when Modi and Biden met, right? And this is the official C-SPAN account of it, right? Now, the audio isn't working properly and conveniently, but it seems like he says, you can read his lips, it seems like he says state secrets here. It's coming up in a second here. He just seemed to say, I sold a lot of state secrets. And then I found this video. It took me a little longer than usual. I usually find these things right off the bat. It took me a while to figure out what this was. And then I found out it was a CEO thing here. And it was the last day. And it was on the 23rd. But this says audio issues, but he said, I stole a lot of state secrets, but it's kind of unclear. But then this is from the whitehouse.gov. Like these morons, everyone else scrubbed it for the guy, right? But his own channel, this is his own White House channel, they screw the guy here, and they actually play the real audio.
Thanking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. Now, all kidding aside, look, we're teaming up.
So he says, all kidding aside. So people have cut out the all kidding aside, right? And Modi's laughing. But, that's not the thing you're saying when your son is being indicted and you've lawyered up, according to a House of Representative Republican congressman, that you're lawyering up. Your son is being, is just pled guilty and being investigated. And there's all this evidence out there. And, he said, all kidding aside, Like, that's something he shouldn't be joking about, right? Now, the people who cut the all kidding aside off suck. If whoever did that, you suck. The other people who said there's audio issues and tried to get rid of this thing and scrub it for him, but they didn't scrub it on the official White House channel like morons, right? And so it says he's joking, so that's something. I mean, it's better that he said it's joking than not, right? That he didn't have a senior moment. We'll watch it again, but just like totally clueless here, right?
And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. Now, all kidding aside, look, we're teaming up to design and develop
Modi's fake laugh here.
New technology that are going to transform the lives of our people around the world.
And so he's reading these things. Just everything that's wrong with the internet and the president and the media and the truthers who manipulate things, and I mean everything is wrapped up to this one little thing, right? That people pretended, they edited out the part that he's joking, the fact he would even joke about that like some moron, the fact that PBS and other publications covered it up and erased it, but it got out anyway, and just his son's a crackhead. I mean, it's all wrapped up. I got some Hunter Biden stuff to get to here. So, all of it, all the above. Professional basketball player dies from apparent heart attack at age 28. Basketball player dies from heart attack after blaming heart condition on the Booooooop. Oscar Cabrera Adams died this week after apparent heart attack, and he was possibly undergoing a stress test for his heart. He's from the Dominican Republic. He suffered from myocarditis, and he himself said that he got the disease after 2 doses of the Booooooop. I'll give a little extra there. So he blamed it on that. And then they were doing a stress test, and he died. So, that happened. We have no placement for them. L.A. County still keeping troubled youth in hotel rooms. They've run out of jail space, so they're putting up these kids in hotel rooms because they don't have treatment centers or whatever it is, right? Facing an unprecedented shortage of foster homes, somehow Los Angeles County leaders are calling on the state to fast-track facilities, these are about treatment centers and things, that could care for most troubled youth under the county's protection. So they don't have foster families. Foster families are leaving like crazy. The kids are getting worse and worse, and the rules are getting worse and worse. And only the real criminals and pedos are staying as foster parents. I'm not saying, all of that, but that's... I talked to a foster parent, a coworker 15 years ago who was a fellow counselor. This is my first job after getting my master's degree in counseling. And a lot of bad stuff in my other job. A lot of kids went through bad stuff, got abused in foster care by other kids that were there. They often placed 12-year-old kids with 5-year-old kids, right? And this woman said her and her husband had done foster care for like 20 years. And she was like, I'm getting out. Like, it's horrible. They're changing all the rules, and they're bringing in, it's going to be more and more people who are, low-life people are going to do it for the money, and or people who are abusers or whatever. And good people, are being harassed and targeted and, are... so it was a whole thing that was happening. This is 15 years ago in Massachusetts. And so, I'm sure some of you have done this and have done foster care. One of my friends from a long time ago, like a family friend, a couple, they were like homesteaders. They were really, they knew a lot about homesteading, but the guy was going back to school to be a counselor, and I was, counseling. I just sort of was leaving the counseling field. Young couple. And, they started to go mainstream, which sucks, whatever. They were, really good. They built a tiny house, and they had a spring on the house. They pumped up all their water from the spring, and they were great at growing food. The young woman was she graduated with horticulture degree or something. and this guy was going back to school, and apparently they sold all that land, and they now live in an ordinary house. They have a daughter going to regular school. The woman posted a photo of her having a patch on her arm after she got the boop, and so that all kind of bummed me out. But they had posted some things on Facebook, and I don't go on Facebook that much, but I just happened to see this, and they had adopted 2 foster kids, and then like 3 months later, I happened to see another post where they were getting, the foster kids were moving out, and they were asking for prayers, and it was like a nightmare. So I just know that happens a lot, in terms of the foster care system, and the kids are just so crazy now. They're getting crazier and crazier. So there's that. So this is what happens when you throw an apple off an offshore rig. So this is an oil rig. Turn off the music here. Now, when I used to go deep sea fishing with my grandfather, they would clean the fish at the boat dock and throw the fish heads and guts out. And there were these catfish, and they'd swarm like this, right? So there's lots of fish that will, in the middle of the ocean, you build a structure. There'll be lots of fish that, coral will grow on it, and, you have a shipwreck or something. But the best part here is where the shark comes swimming in, right? They threw out an apple, and the fish go after it right here. And then after a while, the apple disappears, and a shark appears, and they all disappear. That's wonderful. Merck accused of downplaying severe mental health effects of its child asthma drug, Singular, which has been linked to dozens of suicides, yet 9 million Americans are prescribed it each year. So the maker of Singular is fending off claims that the asthma drug causes suicide. So, there's that. Pickleball injuries may cost Americans nearly $400 million this year, according to UBS. Lots of people getting injured with pickleball. Kim Kardashian sports a very smooth visage and teases a hint of her toned midriff in a black crop top as she dances in her latest TikTok video. And they're saying she uses a filter, which she clearly is. Okay, you see here, there's the devil horns. Her eyes are messed up. It's clearly she has a filter on. Look at her face. Her face is all smooth and her eyes are effed up. But like the devil's horns, she's doing some sort of, weird stuff there. She does this a lot. There's her favorite filter on Instagram is these devil's horns that kind of, it makes your forehead turn into horns. Your hair in your forehead looks weird. It's like, it sort of warps your forehead. You see there that she's got the demon eyes, the creepy ass nails, and she's holding up the devil's horns, right? And just this has become normal. She's really like leaning into it. They're just the devil thing has just become so accepted that people are, pretty oblivious. Even in the Christians and the truthers, like it just becomes something you see so much that after a while they just normalize it. Here, I'll throw this in as well. I got this option now. The boop! I can throw this in any time here. Okay, so 2 of my viewers sent me 2 parts of the story about Island Boy Kodiak Red. I haven't done anything on the Island Boys in a while. I haven't looked at their Instagram page. But he was arrested for beating up his girlfriend. And first somebody showed me this video. They sent me this video.
You profiling me. On my dead dad, you profiling me.
On my dead dad, you're profiling me.
I'll talk to you. But I don't care, bro. You're profiling me. All right, bro. Shut your Indian ass up.
Okay, so this guy with his flip-flops and his bathing suit and his skinny body is about to enter into jail here. The other video was somebody sent me on Instagram a link to a YouTube video in which he's beating up his girlfriend. His mom is videoing the whole thing, and she wants to leave his house. He's blocking the door, and he keeps on saying, "Give me my money back." So apparently he believes that she owed him money, and she's been hit already and trying to leave. He's blocking the door, and then things escalate, and you hear them fighting, and you hear her screaming, and the mom gets it on video, and now the video is on YouTube, and he's in jail. His mom. And so that's what's going. You can find the video. I can't show you it here. YouTube won't monetize the video if I show it, this whole video. But, it's out there if you want to see it. I don't recommend it. I had just done a sitting for my other channel, and I was feeling kind of peaceful and spiritual, and I watched the video, and I'm like, why am I watching this? I mean, it's so low consciousness, and, he's just so stupid. I hoped it was an act, but given the videos that I've seen here, it isn't. Their stupidity is epic. I think he's the smarter of the two. Katrina Palmer, one of my viewers sent me this. They're saying it is possibly suicide. So she's a famous actress somewhere that has died by possible suicide, or some other thing, we don't know. This is the Joe Biden brain is going. U.S. president says he sold a lot of state secrets. This is on Microsoft Started. It's from Australia News. They're featuring that article. Here's a wonderful meme somebody sent me. This kid with the wind, unfortunately, ended up looking like a pouty little Trump. 15 million Americans at risk of stroke from exercising too hard, study suggests. Indian scientists create a model for how blockages affect arteries in the neck. They found blood flow in those were partially blocked, raised stroke issues. And so millions of Americans are at risk if they exercise too hard. So now they're saying exercise. There's Joe Biden falling. It could cause a heart issue. All of a sudden, it used to be exercise was good for you, but now it isn't. Now it causes heart attacks when it used to be good for your heart. As media spotlights Titanic Subs, hundreds of migrants who died in Greek shipwreck get scant coverage. We don't need to see this, but it's got 481,000 views. One of my viewers sent this. The El Diablo burger, and it's priced at $6.66. I'm not sure. It's from Carl's Jr. And, they're just embracing it. They're leaning into it. 8 is enough star Adam Rich died of accidental fentanyl overdose. There's the actor there when he was a kid. You never knew that he'd grow up and be a drug addict. But, that happened. Mick Jagger, there he is. Still moves like Jagger. 79-year-old Mick shimmies and dance floor at ritzy New York City gala. Here he is. Look at him go. Turn off the music here. Look at him go. Look at Mick go. Look at him go. He still got it. He looked like he was 79 when I grew up. Like back in the 70s, he looked old as F. Like he's looked old his whole life, and now he's legitimately old, but he's still going at 79 and dancing like he's having some sort of epileptic fit, and all the people around him are getting into it because, he used to be Mick Jagger, right? People are videoing it, right? Infowars host Owen Stroyer pleads guilty in January boop case. That doesn't get the full boop. Stroyer, who was accompanied by Infowars founder Alex Jones at the Capitol on that famous date in January, admitted that he unlawfully entered and remained on restricted grounds. And so they haven't sentenced him yet. They're just clowns over there at Infowars. They're part of the problem. There he is there. There's Alex Jones. So Alex might be spending some time in jail as well. Boy Meets World star Danielle Fishel recalls creepy experiences with older men on set. She's coming out and talking about this. I covered it a couple videos ago when she said that one of the producers on the show was, had her calendar when she was 16, and he said, "This is my favorite month." I don't know. There she is there. But, she's coming out and saying there's all these creepy people there on set, because they always are, right? We know that they're creepy because we've known that for a long time. Effective pills for weight loss, including an oral version of Ozempic, are on the horizon. Maybe try something that isn't pharmaceutically, with side effects and stuff like that. Fox News taps Jesse Walters to succeed ousted host Tucker Carlson in key primetime hour. This guy is an arrogant, smug, unlikable dude. Like the first time I saw this guy, he was one of the most unlikable. I mean, more than even Don Lemons and some of these other guys. And he's not he's conservative, but he's not a truther. Like Tucker Carlson did some truther stuff, and Fox wants that out. This guy is just annoying, obnoxious, smug, Republican conservative, and he's not going to get the same ratings as Tucker Carlson because we all know that the truther narratives are so much more compelling. And Tucker Carlson leaned into those a little bit, and he was the number one rated show in news, right? So much so, Fox News sends Tucker Carlson cease and desist letter over new Twitter show. Because he's getting as many as 80 million according to Twitter, or 26 million according to MSNBC. Either way, it's way more than anybody else is getting on his little 10-minute shows that he's doing on Twitter. But Fox News has him under contract, so they want him to stop doing these shows because they're directly competing with their network, and their network sucks, and their network is now scrubbing their truther element from their programming. Means that they're going to do even worse. And, the way they handle the whole Trump election and stuff, the way they handled the last one, the way they handle this one. And so Fox News is tanking. Bumbling, tumbling Biden needs to be saved from himself. This is a different video. God save the Queen, man. A week ago, Biden ended a speech about gun control with the words, "God save the Queen." I happened to be watching the TV at the time and replayed the comment to make sure I heard him right. I had. This guy's just talking about how Biden's lost it. But when you got Federman, right? I mean, Hunter Biden prosecutor told 6 witnesses he couldn't charge outside Delaware IRS whistleblower. The federal prosecutor tasked with investigating Hunter Biden told at least 6 witnesses last year that he lacked the authority to charge the first son outside of Delaware and was denied special counsel status, according to an IRS whistleblower. Certainly they are trying to block this. They're minimizing this. I mean, Hunter Biden is a clear criminal. Biden insists he told the truth about not talking foreign business with Hunter despite mounting evidence. Well, of course he did. It's just whether they have the evidence is conclusive or not. But we know he talked to him about it. Of course he would, right? Unless he was like, all right, don't tell me anything, just deposit money in the bank account and tell me what you want to do. Like he could have said that, right? Meghan Markle is not a great talent, UTA CEO says after Spotify podcast goes bust. Yeah, it just happened that she married a prince, a secondary prince, and there was a big scandal, and everyone was interested in it, and now they're not. And she is one of the most unlikable people. Just the way that she talks, she's so pretentious, and so nobody wanted to listen to her. People don't like her and can't connect with her, and so their future is, she's got nothing, right? She's not a good actress. Their money's going to run out, and they've published all the books that they can, and unless they can create another scandal, they're just going to be regular people pretty soon. they're not going to be able to live that royal lifestyle. Which brings me to there's a big change that's happened because of the internet. And you have so much more content available. Like I have people who watch my show regularly from Ireland and some from Australia and some other, places around the world. And, they have local content, right? They have whatever they have, right? In terms of internet and then their local content. But they still watch me because there's some sort of connection, right? And, you have that across the board. There's so many people putting out content on YouTube and social media platforms. And there's so many more available type of streaming services. People don't have to settle for stuff they don't like. As a kid, we had 3 channels, then we had cable, and then they had better cable, and then they had digital cable, and then they had the internet, the beginning of the internet, back when there's still dial-up. Then they had high-speed internet, and then they had, streaming services, and then YouTube came along, and then all these other social media platforms. And there's so much available content. You can find something. It's hard to find things. That's probably the bad thing. But you can find things that are much more enjoyable. And they just can't manufacture a star like Johnny Bravo in the Brady Bunch when Greg Brady was called Johnny Bravo and he ended up being a rock star only because he fit into the jacket they had already made for some other guy who quit or something, right? I think his name was Johnny Bravo, but I'm not sure. Something like that. But they would just manufacture stars. And they do that now. They really try to push somebody out like they did with Kamala Harris, right? So Joe Biden was running for president. They kind of already had picked him as their guy for the Democratic Party. And they started floating out the idea of Kamala. And that guy, Chris Matthews, the now fired Me Too'd Chris Matthews from CNN, said that he envisioned a Biden and Harris ticket like in 2018, like early on. And she wasn't even, a household name then. And he talked about them being, that's why I knew it was sort of rigged from the beginning because that guy was already talking about a ticket. And they gave her a lot of run in the summer of 2019, the primaries that they were running. And people got to look at her. Her numbers inflated to 12% of Democrats. She was running second to Joe Biden. And then people started to get a look at her, and they're like, oh, we don't like this boop at all, right? She was just annoying and just, horrible. Her laugh and all these things. People just didn't like her. They did the same thing with Hillary. Hillary and lots of people that were around her thought it was her turn against Obama. She lost to him. Then they thought it was her turn against Trump. And, whatever happened there, it was never her turn. And they wanted it to be, right? They pushed her out there. She worked for it. But people just, have higher standards now, right? You just can't force somebody unlikable. Although, you see what they did with Fetterman. That's the other side of the coin. Where they take somebody like Fetterman, who has no business being in the public eye at all. I mean, I love it. It's great for me, and he's hilarious. But he won an election. He's out there dressed in shorts and babbling and, mispronouncing words and just a complete disaster. And, I mean, they can just do that. Like they just do things, and they realize you're powerless to do anything about it, right? So at one level, you have much more choice in what you watch, but on the other level, they don't value your, they don't think you're going to do anything. You don't have other than riots and, maybe boycotts. I don't know if boycotts would even work, but they've pushed this whole gender thing on you, and most people don't want it or like it, and they just threw it out there, out of nowhere, and they rammed it down people's throats, and people just kind of accepted it. Even if they, don't like it, they're not doing anything about it, right? There's no outrage. And so, people demand more in terms of what they're willing to watch. And I covered Don Lemons yesterday. And, they don't have to watch what you're putting out there just because you're CNN or MSNBC. But on the same level, because people are so saturated by choices and they're so pacified that they'll just accept anything you do, right? They might complain, but they don't have any recourse. And they're like, oh, well, I still got my internet, or I got my whatever it is, right? And then, until you don't have that, until people don't have internet or electricity or running water or whatever it might be, food in the grocery stores, I mean, it can happen really quickly. It can happen like in a week. We saw that with COVID, how quickly the grocery stores got emptied, and then people were freaking out. Like, it can happen just like that, where you're, where one minute you think everything's fine, you're living your life, and then the next minute everything's changed. But, it's, different times now, right? And, they force the depravity, the devil horns and these other things. I mean, things just become accepted and degraded. There was a video I saw yesterday. I was telling my wife about it. It was something YouTube recommended. There was some girl talking about how to keep a man happy, and I can't repeat what she said, the things that she said. It was something along the lines of giving access to every hole. These things, right? And I was, we were talking about the girl who was, we went for a walk, and we were talking first about the girl who was, like, she's against the swimmer. She wants to swim only against biological females. And, she's testifying before Congress. And that's so, that whole agenda is so shocking to us people in the older generation for what we grew up with. It's shocking Americans have accepted this. But if you look at, like, the depravity of what's on the internet in terms of sexual depravity and, kids growing up on porn and, and all the twisted, weird stuff that's out there, the twisted things that people are doing, it's not just one thing. It's like depravity and immorality and just like evil stuff and, eyes wide shut like stuff and all that kind of thing. This sanctum group that Hunter Biden got kicked out of Eyes Wide Shut, all that kind of stuff. And what Hunter Biden represents, all the way back to Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, that's when it started. And Trump, I mean, he's got all these conservative Christians who are backing him, and they're perfectly fine with him cheating on his wife and banging a porn star. So it's the depravity has risen to such a level. It's not just one thing. It's so many different things. And, we all see it, right? I think most of us see it, especially the older you are, the more you see it. Because there's such a contrast to what we grew up with. And, it's like shocking how quickly it's turned. So there's, all these things have happened along with the internet. The internet's been great, but it's also been horrible. Like, it's great for information, but it's, bad for morality and, in terms of everything, depravity and all these other things. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this thing up here. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.